Discovery Weekly.
Welcome to Discovery Weekly, a show that's all about discovery. It can be music, art, science. It's just anything we discovered throughout the week. I'm Zach.
And I'm Kirk.
And I discovered something amazing that I want to go do. They are building a space hotel.
What?
It looks...
Like for real? Like for real?
Okay, I'm going to show everybody. Everybody's got to see a picture of this thing. It's going to kind of spoiler something because I was going to reveal slowly that they want to have this in the sky, in orbit around Earth by 2027. Okay. This is like, oh, we'll be 95 years old and be like, look at our children going up to the sky. Nope. This is like soon. But here, I'll show everybody what this looks like. It looks like something out of 2001 Space Odyssey, basically. And what this is doing, and they definitely use this premise in Interstellar too, where all of this rotates around that center point to create artificial gravity. And so I'll show you a couple of these kind of like renders they've done. But yeah, there'd be like bars and everything. It's supposed to be like a kind of a fancy hotel. But this is not something that is like just theoretical at this point. So they're really working on how to do this. There's a company called the Gateway Foundation that released plans in 2019 for a ship-style hotel that could one day be floating above the Earth's atmosphere. And they essentially would all be connected by elevator shafts and would be rotating to try and simulate gravity so that you wouldn't all be floating around. But this is something that they are really on. There's some COVID delays, but construction on this hotel is supposed to begin in 2026. That's 5 years. That is 5 years. They're going to start building a space hotel. First of all,
but they're going to start building it in 2026. Yeah. Okay. I think it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, no, but it's
I thought it was I thought the plan was for it to be up there in 2026.
No, but they said it could be up there by 2027 because this is something that they're basing around like what they would use for a boat.
Okay, and what do you think, in your opinion, is probably the biggest hurdle for this?
I don't know how you get this safe enough to the point, and I mean, I guess they could use legal forms, but like you don't normally have to sign like a waiver of your rights to go to a hotel. But I guarantee if there's one in space, there's got to be something, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because first of all, that's assuming one, that there's commercial space flight available, which that's pretty close too. That's what I'm saying is all these pieces are starting to fall in place around the right time. Like we've had the ISS there for a really long time. We know how to keep people in space for a really long time.
My question, and I'm sure they don't say it in here, is how do you, because that's a big piece of equipment. How do you get it all up there? Are you going to have to do it in chunks?
I would guess
like
modules.
Pieces?
Yeah, I would guess pieces like on SpaceX rockets. And then they would have to send someone up there just to like assemble everything. Because that's how crazy. That's how they did the ISS.
Yeah.
Is they launched up like a center module, like on a ship. But then other than that, they would just attach pieces to it throughout. So that would be my guess on this too. And yeah, I would think the price tag is going to be ridiculous.
Oh God.
But
yeah,
I just have this idea of sitting at a hotel bar and looking out and you see Earth. You see the Earth outside, like all of it. It would be so amazing. I wonder if we could
do what like I do at Disney, which is like, I'm not going to pay to stay here, but I'm going to go to like the restaurants and stuff.
Oh, you're going to try to just go to the hotel bar in space and not stay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they do that. There's not like, it's not like a subway. No, there's no subway that'll bring you back like a couple hours later. No, and that's the thing is I do feel like commercial space flight's going to have to be really dialed in. But what I'm saying is you have commercial space flight. You have to launch a bunch of civilians to space. Then the civilians get to live in space, which is like, I guess they can. There's a lot of things they could model this after, though. You know, cruise ships and things like that have to be self-contained and able to do all their stuff on their own. And so you just kind of tweak the ISS plus a cruise ship, and you get like a hotel in space. And the main thing that blew my mind about this and is exciting is that is not very far away.
No,
like we're having this conversation not as like maybe one day there'll be a hotel in space. Like the pieces are starting to fall in so that this could actually happen.
No, that is really cool. And I do hope to see that in our lifetime. We'll never be able to afford to do it.
True.
But
True story.
It'd be cool to see it.
I'm trying to think. I just need to find a job that requires me to go there. No, see, this is where your food blog idea would really work. You need to be the best food blogger in the world and be like, you know what? I got to review your kitchen. So for that to happen, you got to send me to space. And so then you could kind of like rig your way into getting up there for free.
Because that's what you need. You're going to have a good review to make it.
Yeah.
So you need my review.
Space hotels don't make it every day. They fail all the time.
They live or die off Yelp reviews, for sure.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't wait for the first negative Yelp review of the space hotel. Like, it's going to be good.
I didn't even get to float.
I couldn't walk my dog anywhere. Hotel is terrible.
Oh, man. Oh, that's great. No, maybe we'll be able to watch someone live stream at the virtual hotel so that we can technically be there in spirit.
Yeah, that doesn't count. I want to be there in person. Whatever it takes. I got to get rich.
Get rich. I found an article from one of your favorite sources, Zach. It was an Atlas Obscura article that it was why Mormons make great FBI recruits. And it's actually very fascinating because I never would have thought about it. And I'm going to read some of the article. It said a few years back when the Pew Research Center surveyed Mormons in America about their place in society, more than 60% of the participants said that Americans are uninformed about Mormonism. Mormons make up about 2% of the American population. I did not know that it was that much of the population. That's more than I thought, which is the same amount as Jews. But they're not sure that the rest of the country quite understands or accepts them. Overwhelmingly, most Mormons describe misperceptions about the religion or lack of acceptance in American society. But there's at least one place in American society where Mormons have found an unusual degree of acceptance. In agencies like the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and the CIA, which see Mormons as particularly desirable recruits and have a reputation for hiring a disproportionate amount of people who belong to the church. And I was like, okay, that's fascinating. Why are Mormons targeted by these organizations? Zach, what do you think are some of the reasons? Because I'm curious if you can figure it out. I mean, I didn't think too hard and long about it before
I would say they're mostly not like, because I feel like a lot of times these organizations are looking for people who are kind of like off grid, essentially. So I don't think they have much of like they aren't like going out and like really active in anything besides like the Mormonism. You know, they can find people who are kind of just on the side. And I mean, Mormons are the ones that do like, they travel around and do I can't remember what they call it, mission, right? Are they on bikes for that one? Is that Mormons?
I believe that's the Jehovah's Witnesses, right?
I don't know. I get them confused. But
we're definitely probably part of the problem with not understanding Mormonism.
Yeah.
Definitely
I don't
know a lot about it.
I will say that right now. I don't fully understand.
But it says the disproportionate number of Mormons is usually chalked up to three factors. Mormon people often have strong foreign language skills from their missions overseas. A relatively easy time getting security clearances given their abstinence from drugs and alcohol, and a willingness to serve. And it's interesting because it says even J. Edgar Hoover is purported to have been interested in recruiting Mormons in particular. And he's like the founder of the FBI, correct? Yes. It's a fascinating read. They talk about actually one of the first double agents against America was a Mormon, which is an interesting thing. And also it says in the 1980s, a BYU professor told authors of The Mormon Corporate Empire, a 1985 social science study on the church and its power, that we've never had any trouble placing anyone who has applied to the CIA. every year they take almost anybody who applies. So if you're a Mormon, you can get in the CIA or the FBI pretty quick. However, there's been some pushback on this. There's been some agents, in particular, there's been some Latino agent was the first one who filed a discrimination complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Office. In the course of the next few years, he, along with more than 300 other agents, would file a class action lawsuit against the FBI for racial and religious discrimination. Part of their complaint was that their Mormon higher-ups had favored agents of their own religion. So it's almost become...
There's becoming a Mormon club at the FBI?
Yes.
What?
It says the judge ruled in their favor, in the 300 agents' favor, against on the racial discrimination charge, and though he rejected the religious discrimination charges, he did write that the testimony at the trial showed that Mormon leaders made personal decisions which favored members of their church at the expense of Hispanic class members.
That sounds counter. It sounds counter to what they've said. That's weird.
And I love this because this is like what you just said. Together, these two cases, which were extensively covered by the media, lodged a new idea in the public mind that there was a Mormon mafia in the FBI.
So ridiculous. Like, I had no clue this was happening.
I didn't either.
It's interesting, though. Mormon mafia sounds weird, too.
It does. The agency's public demographic statistics do not include the religious backgrounds of its officers, but the FBI isn't known for its diversity, even after its Hispanic officers won that discrimination case and after other lawsuits of similar issues of hiring practices.
They did win the discrimination case.
Yeah, they won the discrimination case, but they didn't win the part of religious discrimination.
Oh, okay. No, I get that. That makes sense. Yeah.
So they won the racial discrimination, not the religious discrimination. But the judge did say that quote of like, you didn't win it, but there's definitely some weird stuff going on here with the...
I mean, good job on not winning you were mean to him because he was a different religion. You were mean to him because he was a different race. You did it. You did it, everybody. Good job. Terrible.
It says other similar issues of hiring practice. Most people working at the FBI are white men. What is known is that agencies like the CIA and FBI still recruit at BYU looking for students with language skills and an interest in public service, although even the university doesn't know how many of its students ultimately end up in these jobs. But I just thought it was a fascinating article. I mean, like, who would have thought? I mean, it makes sense. Honestly, it does make sense.
It does.
But I didn't even put two and two together. But it's an interesting read. And the more I read, I'm like, wait, there's now it's almost systemic where it's like, now it'll always be Mormons because now the ones that are in charge are Mormons. And so it's just...
And they're just hiring more Mormons. So hopefully they can get all the Mormon discrimination under control at the FBI. That's a sentence that everyone needed, but no one knew they did.
Fascinating article. Atlas Obscura, always a good one.
Do you love plants? Don't be silly. Of course you do. You might just not know it yet. I'm Vikram Baliga, the host of the Planthropology Podcast, the show where we dive into the lives and careers of some really cool plant people. Join me each episode as I chat with students, scientists, and professionals in the natural sciences and figure out what keeps them coming back for more. We'll explore their work, the ways they got into their fields, why they love plants and nature so much, and why you should love those things too. Planthropology is laid back and conversational and will keep you laughing and engaged whether you're a scientist or not. Follow along for this adventure into the sciences and keep being really cool plant people.
Well, funny you should say that you like Atlas Obscura because this next one is from Atlas Obscura. Seriously, everybody, if you aren't checking out, we are not paid by them, but it is an absolutely incredible publication. Atlas Obscura, check it out. Gastro Obscura.
Yeah, and then they have the food one.
Amazing. Yeah. It's just really good. Really, really good. But the reason I chose this one is because I was looking through their stories, which is just all of their different articles, And there was one that had bolded tag on it that said poop. And I was like, okay, I'm curious, Atlas Obscura. You do such high quality stuff. What are you talking about on here?
It needs a theme song made by the toilet bowl cleaners. Our good friend Matt Farley.
That we do need to. I mean, he already has maybe 600 or so that they could use.
Dude, so he always is retweeting stuff, but there's so many celebrities that have listened to these poop songs and then they'll do like a reaction video and he's always retweeting them because there's always like they're so gross, but they're funny.
Can't knock that guy's hustle. He's on it.
He's so on it. He's awesome. You can still call him on his cell phone. He'll answer. It's so weird. I don't get that. I don't even like giving my cell phone number out. This guy's got his cell phone number everywhere.
Yeah, we called him. He answered immediately. So this article is called "Leave Only Footsteps and Take Your Poop When Visiting Japan's Lush Iriomote Island." So I'll paraphrase this. You should definitely read it because it's hilarious. But this very, very small island near Japan is essentially only home to 2,500 people permanently, but sees up to 400,000 tourists in not last year, obviously, but normal years. And
that's a lot.
The closest toilet to this island is 45 minutes by kayak or 50-minute hike away. And so what has begun happening, as you could very well expect, is people are pooping all over the place. And it has become a real issue that apparently, like, because I mean, if you think about 400,000 people on an island are just pooping all over the place.
Can't they just like make a small porta potty service and like, or, you know, put some compostable toilets out there?
Yeah. And so this is kind of what this article is about. I had no clue what they were going to be talking about, but that is what this is about, is essentially solutions. What do you do? Yeah. What do you do if you have extremely remote areas? Because this isn't exclusive to Japan. This is happening in basically anywhere that has national parks that are highly secluded. You know, we have the same issues here. But I've learned a couple weird things about, because of this. So obviously human poop is really bad, but apparently what's even worse is poop and pee in the same place. I had never thought about this, but, and I mean, okay, just beware of this next couple minutes because it's slightly disturbing.
It's going to get very scatological, friends.
Yeah, it's about poop things, but I don't know. I never knew this stuff. So poop, like by mass, is almost 50% like bacteria. So
I didn't know that. That is a lot of bacteria.
Like, yeah, it's a lot. And the reason that is because then if it's on the ground, all that bacteria and then bugs break it down. But when you mix it with urine, then it creates just like an ammonia cloud that will kill all of the stuff in there that's meant to break it down. And so that's what's happening here is like 400,000 people a year are going to this island and are blasting it with just excrement. So they're like, you have ruined this beautiful island with your pooping everywhere. And so they've started reaching out to people to try and figure this out. What they ended up doing is they have essentially tent porta potties that they put there. Mm-hmm. And that has really helped a lot. But from this, I discovered another thing. There is a company called Toilet Tech Solutions, and this is an American company, and they literally specialize in high volume, like portable or isolated toilets. So that's their whole thing. It's ridiculous, and they use high like volume conveyor belts. And literally,
conveyor belts.
Yes, there's a conveyor belt that separates the solids from the liquids, because that's the thing. They say that the liquids, plants like love it. You know, it's good for plants. The ground can just use it. But if it's mixed, then you have a problem. So they take the solids away into somewhere where the bugs and the natural bacteria can do their thing and they can break down naturally. The thing is, I had just never thought about this. Like, I had never thought about why are these mixed, or should they be, or, you know what I mean? It's just with with a toilet, it just doesn't, it's not a thing, but apparently it's bad. And so there's an entire company that builds these urinals that you can put in the middle of a desert, and they have built them in such a way that you can have hundreds of thousands of people use them and leave them there for 20 years and they're fine. It breaks down naturally, and they have just found a way to do it. But it was just funny to me that there is like an entire industry, and all of these national parks are having to worry about it because people are just pooping everywhere.
Okay, I mean, it sounds like a beautiful national park and all that.
Oh, it's amazing.
But if I'm gonna go visit somewhere that I can't go to the bathroom at, I don't know.
What do you mean? You can't go to the bathroom?
Next to a tree?
No, in the tents. They have little porta potties now.
Oh, okay. So now, okay, I got you.
Yeah, no, the problem was they didn't have porta potties before because they expected people to just not poop out there. But apparently people resisted that idea. And so they were having issues. So just people being people.
People being people. Well, guys, I found something that a little bit blew my mind because I was like, there's no way. But did you know that Nacho Libre, the movie with Jack Black, was technically based loosely on true events?
I saw this article when you posted it, but I did not when I saw Nacho Libre. No, I did not think that was at all based on reality. I thought that it was pretty much as far from reality as you could possibly get.
And it's actually a really cool story. So it's based off of this man in Mexico, Sergio Gutierrez Benitez. He was born in 1945. He's a Mexican priest who supported an orphanage for 23 years as a lucha libre wrestler. This is the synopsis, and then we'll go into a little bit of a detail. It says, while performing, he wore a red and yellow mask and used the ring name Fray Tormenta. He made only sporadic in-ring appearances in the 2000s before retiring completely from wrestling in 2011, but he still wears his masks even in his duties as a priest.
I love that. I love that there's a priest wearing a lucha mask.
Also, there's just so many things I learned. I learned that basically this has been it seems like there was multiple movies written about this before he became what he is. So apparently in Mexico, there's 2 other movies that are about this. And then he's like, that's a great idea. And then he did it. And then multiple movies have been written about him who actually did it. It says, he had long been inspired to become a masked luchador after watching 2 1963 Mexican films, El Señor Tormenta, or Mr. Storm, and Tormenta en el Ring, Storm in the Ring, both of which feature the story of a poor Mexican priest who supported the children of his orphanage by fighting as a lucha libre wrestler at night. At age 22, Gutierrez at the time was a drug addict and an alcoholic. He became interested in the priesthood and basically cleaned himself up, and he was inducted into the Paracels order? I don't know. It's a specific order of priesthood. His theological training took him to Rome and then Spain, and for a while he taught philosophy and history at Roman Catholic universities in Mexico. He later became a secular priest in the Diocese of Texcoco, where he founded an orphanage named La Casa Hogar de los Cachorros de Fray Tormenta. Very long name, which would serve as the home of 270 children in need of money. 270 children in need of money to take care of the children. The father became the masked wrestler known as Fray Tormenta. It's just a fascinating,
so awesome
story, and the way that he was able to become a wrestler to support the children of this orphanage that he started. He started the orphanage, and then he's had more of a influence on pop culture than you would ever think. It says, "This is, you know how Wikipedia now has like trivia questions about things sometimes at the bottom.
Yeah.
There's a trivia question about this. It says for trivia, the video game character King from Tekken, Crasher Wake from Pokemon, Tizok from Fatal Fury, Leon from F-Zero, and Greco from Chrono Cross were inspired by his story, as were the movies Nacho Libre with Jack Black playing Ignacio Nacho as Fray Tormenta, and he also inspired a French film that I can't pronounce. But because of his actions, he inspired all of these different things, which is amazing. Just a great
I like all of that.
That Nacho, forever now, I will think of Nacho Libre as a documentary.
It was always meant to be. Get that corn out of my face.
Get the corn out of my face. He's the best.
Yeah, that's an amazing story for sure.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode of Discovery Weekly. We really appreciate it. We are very excited to discover some more stuff this week, and we will be back with you guys next week to tell you about those things. And I hope you guys have a great week. We will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
This was a podcast from the Podfix Network. You can check out more shows like it at podfixnetwork.com.